Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be relationships built upon lies. Well, I've got an interesting email for you today. I've got a guy who I've been doing some email coaching with him on and off, I guess for the past year. He got himself into a situation where he had this girl who was a friends with benefits, and apparently he slipped one past the goalie. Maybe they weren't using birth control, I don't know. But he got this woman pregnant who he really wasn't into and had no desire to have a relationship. And on top of that, she was sleeping with several other guys. And now she's pregnant with twins. She claims that the babies are his. And so now he's looking at putting everything in his life on hold in order to have a relationship with her. Even though he doesn't want to have a relationship with her, he figures if he just stays with her until after the kids are born, then someday he can tell his kids that, well, yeah, we were together, and then we split up after you guys were born. So he's getting ready to make a lot of choices that I obviously would not agree with. And so we're going to go through his email, and I've got a quote that I wrote in this particular topic, and then we're going to discuss where his thinking is obviously flawed, because what he's getting ready to do is just, it ain't good. So the quote I wrote says, "A healthy relationship is built upon openness, communication, trust, honesty, etc. Relationships built upon inauthenticity, lies, self-deception, and ignoring reality are not going to be very happy, fulfilling, or long-lasting. Before you decide to enter into a long-term relationship, you have to be totally and completely honest with yourself and see the relationship and its potential for what it really is. Just like you won't really apply yourself and work hard at a job that you're not really into, you won't make the effort and do the work necessary to make a relationship grow and prosper when you're not really into the person who you are in a relationship with. When you have a passion for someone or something, it's easy to apply 100% of your focus, interest, and passion to make it great. If your relationships are based upon intense love, respect, communication, appreciation, and admiration for each other, you'll give yourself the best possible chance for success long term." So let's go through and see what he is thinking. Let's try to look through his eyes and see why he thinks what he's about to do is a good idea. He says, "Hi, Corey. My friend with benefits of 2 months turned into a friend with babies. I'm not into the girl, and I don't want a relationship. I just wanted to have fun." Again, that's the importance, especially if you're just hanging out, having fun, and hooking up, and you're not looking to get serious with anybody or get serious with the people that you're hooking up with. You really should practice safe sex. Here's a case in point. Doesn't sound like the guy wore his raincoat. Maybe got a hole in the raincoat. I don't know what happened. Maybe she was on the pill and wasn't taking her pill properly, wasn't taking it at regular times, and boom, next thing you know, she's pregnant. He says she's pregnant with twins and wants to keep them. I wrote you on this topic about 4 weeks ago, and since then the other guy fell off the radar. You told me to have a paternity test, and I will. I think she realized that her starting to date someone else while pregnant with my babies would be a really bad way to start bringing our families closer together. I've never learned to trust another girl enough to not wear a condom unless I'm ready to have kids with her. I've also learned to leave untrustworthy people alone. Regardless of how boring my life might be without anyone, it simply keeps getting worse with them in it. Her and I have agreed to stay together throughout the pregnancy, but I've made myself clear in as loving a way as possible that I won't be getting married or staying together for the children. So for now, I'm thinking it's best to set everything up for the kids and be there for her emotionally while she's going through this, and at least my kids will have the security of knowing we split up after the pregnancy, not before. How is that going to fucking matter about anything? The bottom line is you're not together. Really doesn't fucking matter. So you're going to make yourself miserable in the process, get into a fraudulent relationship, give this woman false hope. Think about all the emotions that she's going to go through with being pregnant, and at the end you're going to go, hey, thanks for the memories, I'm fucking out of here. At least I was there for you. Come on, man. Seriously. What are you thinking? He says, here's my long-term plan, and I'd like you to tell me if you think it's reasonable of me to think that this will work. Eventually, everyone would be happy and to not feel like I was a piece of shit dad or whatever. People are going to think what they're going to think, dude. It really doesn't fucking matter. Bottom line is you don't have any... So would you rather everybody know that you're living a lie and you're just with her because of how it may look 20 years from now when your kids ask about it? That's ridiculous. What are you smoking, dude? Put the fucking crack pipe down. I want to move to a larger city in another state about 2.5 hours from here. I want to find a better job with better benefits. I want to make a better social life for myself. I want to have more choice with women and date more than one at a time. I want to eventually purchase a home, make that place my permanent residence, and if I decide to move from there, I would like to rent it. I want to buy a nice car that's good on gas so I can travel back and forth on the 2.5-hour drive to see my children safely and efficiently. I want a kind, peaceful, respectful relationship with the mother of my children. What kind of relationship do you think you're going to have if you move in with this woman and you give her false hope? I mean, the bottom line is she's going to think that you're going to stick around. And you don't really want to be with this person. How much effort are you really going to put into courting and dating her properly when she's pregnant and you don't even want to be with her? Think about that. It's just like working a job that you think sucks. You're not going to work that hard at it. And you're certainly not going to work that hard at making her happy or yourself happy when the reality is you're just trying to create a lie that somehow you think is going to be better for the kids someday. I want my parents and her parents to embrace our unique situation and help us make the best of it. I want our children, so in other words, you're looking to seek the approval of her parents and your parents. Oh, hey, we did the right thing. How is making yourself miserable and giving her false hope of a relationship doing the right thing? Come on, man, seriously. This is a big thing you're thinking about doing here. And do you really want to start bringing your children into the world based upon a relationship that's a fucking lie? I want our children to grow up in a peaceful, loving, nurtured, but free and realistic environment. Realistic? How realistic is it to move in with a woman and live a lie when you don't really want to be there? How are you going to create a peaceful and loving environment when you don't want to be there in the first place? You're going to be forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do, and deep down you know is bullshit. That's completely contrary to what you say you want to create. If you really want to move 2 hours away or 2.5 hours away, then go do that. If that's going to make you happy, great. If she wants to move to the city and maybe live with you while she's pregnant, that's great too. Then that way her and the kids can be closer to you. Or maybe she gets her own place. Maybe she moves. Or maybe she stays where she is. Dude, you got to think about making yourself happy first. Because by moving in with her and not going after the career or the job that you want, not living in the city that you want, you're going to be unhappy. No amount of you making yourself unhappy is going to be good for your children or good for her. You're going to resent her because deep down you're going to be pissed off. You can't help but not look at the situation and think that she's not holding you back. She and the fact that you're having these children are the reason why you're not leaving and why you're not doing what you want to do. I would like to eventually meet a woman that blows me away, who's deserving of my trust, and see where it goes. Well, moving in with somebody who you don't love and you don't want to be with just because she's going to have your children, you're not creating the space for the kind of relationship that you really want. As a matter of fact, you move in and she's going to probably work on you and work on you and work on you. Oh, we got to get married, we got to get married, we got to make this legitimate. And eventually you'll probably just go along. You're setting a pattern of just going along with things that you don't really want to do. These kinds of relationships, they never work out. And even when two people stay together, they hate their lives so much. They overeat. They don't take care of themselves. They don't work the kind of jobs that they really want. They raise their kids in a shitty environment, a shitty home. And the kids grow up and they go out and they repeat the same mistakes as their parents. It doesn't serve you, her, or your children, or your families to live this lie when it's not what you really want. And it's not fair to her either. Why would you want to blow sunshine up her ass and give her false hope that you're going to stick around and want to have a relationship when it's not what you want? Come on, man. Seriously. This is totally against everything that I teach and that you've been learning from me. I mean, yeah, she's gotten pregnant and you need to be there and you need to be responsible, but it doesn't mean you put your whole life on hold. Your kids deserve to have a dad who's happy, who's in love with the woman of his dreams, and who does something he loves for a living, because then the kids can emulate that example. Right now, you're on the verge of creating a totally fucked up and dysfunctional Jerry Springer kind of example. It never ends well when people do things like this. I've had countless friends that did this. None of those relationships ever worked out. And all they ended up doing was making themselves miserable. I've talked to countless clients over the years who are staying in it just for the kids. There's no sex. They usually both end up being overweight, unhappy, having health problems. They don't work at things that they want because it just creates a pattern throughout every area of their life. They're not doing things that they really love and they really enjoy. They're constantly sacrificing their happiness, their needs, their wants, their goals, and their desires because it's what they think they need to do, even though it's completely against everything that they feel in their hearts. I would also like it if the mother of my children could meet someone who's understanding of our situation and who would look after the children with a loving and understanding attitude. That's another reason why you shouldn't be there in the house, because she can't meet the right guy for her if you're there living a fucking lie. I'm thinking I'll be able to make the 2.5-hour drive home about once a month. I could stay at my parents' house and have the kids for a day and a half or 2 days, then go back to my life. Maybe once the kids get a little older, they can come down and stay a few weeks at a time with me. I just hope this isn't all too much to ask, because it's really the best that I can think of. Think about it. If you move away and you become a better success, you earn more money, you can provide a better life for your kids versus continuing to work at a job in a place that you don't want to be. You're just not going to make the effort. You're staying where you don't want to be. You're working in a job that you don't really want to work at. Being in a relationship with somebody where you don't want to be in a relationship with. You're not going to put in the effort to make it really great. The only way you're going to put in an effort and make your life and lifestyle really great and be the best provider and best dad that you can be is if you follow your heart, your curiosity, your intuition, and your passion. He says she never knew I wanted a relationship, or she knew I never wanted a relationship, and that I had plans to move in the spring long before the pregnancy. Not to say that she should terminate it because of that, but just to show that I'm not running from anything. It doesn't mean you're running away by moving away. It just means that you're following the beat of your own drum. You're doing what makes you happy, because that is going to provide the best example for your children. You create a space for yourself to find and identify the right lover for you, and it gives her the space to attract the right guy into her life that's going to be understanding of the situation. As long as you're there, there's no space for her to meet the right guy, and there's no space for you to meet the right girl. So you're both going to end up making each other miserable. That's going to have a negative effect on your children. I've simply got a plan for my life, and I'm not letting her plans derail mine. Really? Dude, you are totally bullshitting yourself. However, I would like to accommodate the children and be there for them as much as I possibly can. How do you see this working out for me? I'm almost 100% positive these kids are mine, and I feel a lot more comfortable with the situation knowing what I'm shooting for is something that's doable and emotionally fair to the children as well. Well, if I were you, I would speak to a doctor, somebody that specializes in doing paternity tests, and tell them the situation. And say, I'm pretty sure the kids are mine, but I'm not sure because she was sleeping with other guys. So what do I do? How do I know for sure? You need to find that shit out as soon as possible, dude. Because that way, if it's somebody else's kids, that guy needs to know about it. Also, I'm a little frightened that staying with her for the next 7 months might make it harder to leave her once the kids come. What was I just saying? What have I been saying this whole video? You should realize that. You should pay attention to that. That's your heart trying to say, dude, pay the fuck attention. Pay some attention. You're fucking up. He says, I just don't want her having sex with another man, as that would be disrespectful. You just said you want her to be happy and find the right guy. And it doesn't sound like she has any problem meeting other men. If you really want her to be happy and you really want an open and a free environment, let her do what's going to make her happy. You being around is just going to give her false hope. He says, I know that's a fear-based decision, but she's weak like that. And I wouldn't put it past her in the long run to sleep with someone else, especially while she's going through the emotions of being pregnant and the father not being around. It's hard for me to weigh out the last part. Like I said, what I would do if I were you is focus on yourself, making yourself happy, take care of the kids as best you can. If she wants to move to the city where you're at, awesome. Good for her, good for the kids. But don't fucking blow sunshine up her ass and make her feel... It's like... So it kind of sounds like the only real reason that you want to be with her is because you don't want some other dude having sex with your baby mama while she's pregnant with your kids. But even though you want her to meet the right guy and be happy for her. That's fucked up, dude. You need to think about the logic of that. That is fucked up. So if I were you, do what makes you happy. Find a job in a new city. Go move there and spend as much time with her as you can and make as much money as you can so you can provide as much money and funds to her so she can provide a great life and lifestyle for your children. That's what I would do if I were you. There's no way in hell. I mean, everything that you're talking about doing is exactly the complete opposite of everything that I teach, that I've known in my core of my being to be right and just. I've done these kinds of things. Not that I knocked up my former ex-girlfriends or whatever, but I was in situations where I married someone and I didn't want to marry her. And I wrote about this in my book. And all I did was make myself miserable, and I made my wife miserable as well. And it was much better off. Thank God we never had any children together, because that would have just made things even more difficult to leave. But the bottom line is I grew a set of balls, and I knew I needed to get the fuck out of there, and I did the right thing for me. And it's the best fucking decision I ever made. Think about it. If you go and work and do what you really want, you're going to be happier. Yeah, you're going to think about your kids, but the bottom line is by focusing on yourself and making a great life for yourself, you're going to be a great dad. You're going to be happier. And you can be a better father figure and a better example. Because she needs to find somebody else whose goals and values are more aligned with hers, because your goals and your values are definitely not aligned. So, dude, you need to do some serious fucking thinking about what you're about to do. Because I certainly wouldn't fucking want to do it. But you know what? It's your life. You do whatever you want. You ask for my opinion. There you have it. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.